like a show, I'm just letting you know that I'm not entertained. Hey, coach, put me in the game. They put me in, so I'm going in. You play for fun, I'm playing to win. Back on the wall, I'm ready for war. If I beat them before, I could beat them again. They thought I was done, I went on a run and beat all the odds and got even again.
EA Sports coverage of the National Football League brings us to First Energy Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. Tonight, we reach the unofficial midway point of the season with a good Monday night battle between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns. Lurching closer toward the midway point of this NFL season, and we're underway on EA Sports. Fields it right around the goal line. And good coverage there on special teams as he'll get him down shy of the 20.
Here we go. 11 mighty.
Here's Joe Mixon as they start on the ground. Fights forward for only about a yard up to the 21.
Well, what a matchup we have here in the AFC North on this All Hallows Eve, otherwise known, of course, as Halloween. Kids probably shuffling home right now from trick-or-treating, all hopped up on sugar and ready to drive their parents crazy as these two old rivals get together here on this final day of October in a game that's been highly anticipated.
The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9.
11.
Once again, they run with Mixon. Only gets 3 yards there on the heels of a 1-yard pickup. Sets up 3rd and 6.
This defense for the Browns, they were very solid last week in the victory over Baltimore.
And I'm eager to see the game plan and try to attack them this week, because when you take it away 4 times through interceptions, what do you do now when you go into a game? Do you decide you can't throw the ball? Do you try and run it more? Or do you tell your quarterback, make sure you see your guys open before you deliver?
And he is going to have a Bengals first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
And on this first drive, looks like they want to get that vertical passing game going early.
And they did, and what a warning shot they just fired. If you're not going to back up and play coverage deep, we're going to attack you all game long. And once you adjust to that and you start to back off, then that opens things up underneath. A really nice start for them. Great way to get the game going.
And a good run here as he'll rumble all the way down to the 40-yard line.
17 more yards on that one as they keep the drive rolling. So back-to-back big runs, picking apart this defense on the opening drive.
I thought this was a passing league. I thought this was the era we were in where the ball was always in the air, right?
They didn't get the memo.
They didn't get the memo, and I know this to be true. Offensive linemen still, to this day, they want to run the football. They want to fire out and hit people across the line of scrimmage and hit clearing space.
He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
This defense is a difficult one to prepare for, one of the best in the league. They'll come at you from all angles, and they did a nice job there stopping him for a loss.
Maybe just a slight detour on what's been a strong drive. Here's 2nd and 11. Now Burrow.
A throw for Boyd, but it's intercepted.
Picked off by John Johnson. And now off to the races down the right side. And he takes this one back into the end zone. And the Browns defense has a touchdown.
Well, they were advancing the ball. They had a couple first downs under their belt, but a big mistake there on the opening drive leads to 6 points the other direction.
And what a good read that was on his part, Brandon, because it prevents a possible scoring drive with how they were moving things along. And it gives the defense the early advantage. Was going to be a definitely entertaining battle between these units.
So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick 6. And now the kick is away. And they're going to mark that where it went out of bounds. So really good starting field position up past the 40-yard line. They've got good starting field position as they come up here 1st and 10 at their own 44. They go play action with Burrow. On the move to his left. He's got a man complete. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. He got 29 yards that time.
Sometimes it's designed, and sometimes you just have to know when to leave the pocket and move and make something happen. And on that play, he's able to get on the run and was still accurate throwing the football.
He finds some way to turn this into positive yardage as he struggles forward for a pickup of about 2.
You've got to be impressed by that defensive front on reps like those. They were not being moved off the line, kept their shoulders square, and gave their teammates time to fight to the ball and limit that gain.
Back to Mixon on 2nd down.
And he'll be tackled at the 23 after a gain of 3.
I do know from experience that when you slow down someone's running game, you're now doing the dictating on defense. And guess what? Now you're getting ready to tee off on their quarterback because they have to throw it all the time. But you still have to be alert.
Now Burrow loses the football.
Points 1, 2, and 3 in their defensive game plan was to get to the quarterback and knock the ball free. They did it there. Luckily, offense hangs on to it.
Yeah, that's got to serve as a wake-up call, though, because they can't afford to let the ball go over to the defense and miss opportunities. And I'm not saying it happened here, but you know what a good rule of thumb is when a play like that occurs? You know who usually recovers it? The guy who missed his block and let his quarterback get hit. It's been a nightmare season. You're well under 500. Your defense hasn't really kept in a lot of games, and now it's spilling over to the kicking game. That's 3 points you've got to be able to bank on.
Now a chance to take advantage of that missed field goal. 1st and 10, way up at the 37. They'll fake the handoff. Now Watson. Dumps this to his running back, Chubb. And he'll be out of bounds up near the 45 at the 44.
Just about every quarterback is trained to really look downfield first before you come back and make a nice, safe throw. And in this case, that's exactly what he did. Found his running back, let him create some space, and it turned out to be a nice play for the offense.
From the 44, Watson. He's got a man complete. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. A very nice pickup of 33 yards. So the big play gets him all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10. Watson off play action.
He rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted.
Chidobe Awuzie with a pick.
And the Bengals are going to take over at their own 11-yard line. And, Charles, that's now 4 interceptions over his last 3 halves of football because, remember, he threw 3 picks last week.
Starting to wonder if maybe defenses and those coordinators have identified something on tape with what he's doing. Maybe a movement, maybe the way he's moving his shoulders. Who knows what it could be? He could have a few tells out there that they're keying in on and allowing defenses to get to the football a little bit faster. People steal signals. Maybe sometimes they can figure out what the quarterback's doing just by his movements. As we've seen over the years, offense coordinators will often ease their way into drives. Many of them don't want to risk a turnover or put their defense in a bad spot, but not in this case.
Not at all. Forget about easing into it. They took a shot. It worked. Throwing on 1st down, but this one winds up to be incomplete.
They certainly did a nice job improvising there, extending the play, hoping someone would come open downfield, but they never did.
Burrow going to give this to Mixon.
And he's going to take this down close to a 1st down at the Browns' 38. 9 yards, not quite enough, and they'll be left now with 3rd and 1. Well, they're making an effort to get the ground game going tonight. So far, it's working.
I like what we're seeing from the offensive line. They seem to have the leverage going, and they're controlling things and reestablishing the line of scrimmage, moving that defensive front backwards. I also like what the runner's giving us, too. It appears that he's been waiting all day long to get out here and take off.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Play action. It's Burrow. And that's going to be caught. T. Higgins. And he doesn't quite make it, taking it within an eyelash. Dropped at the 1. After one, 7-0 on EA Sports.
Here we go, here we go.
Mixon is into the end zone for a Bengal touchdown. Nice job of polishing off that drive, but all the credit there goes to that play prior.
Yeah, it certainly does, because after that big play, I think resistance almost felt futile at that point, didn't it? And the very next play, they come right back, quick, fast, and in a hurry, and put it in the end zone.
So all even at 7 now as they kick it away. This one taken just inside the 10. And he's going to get this across the 20 as he's out of bounds at the 23. The Cleveland offense ready to go.
As the offense comes out here, Charles, remember they threw the interception last time out, but they were moving the football down the field. Looked like they were going to have a sustained drive that ended in points, but then the pick ensued.
And because of that, there's no way you can call the last drive a success. Yes, there are things to build on because they found some play calls that work. Now, they've got to build another drive and find a way to avoid the turnover the play did on the last one.
Now a first down throw, Watson. And his throw here is incomplete.
The Browns sitting at 5-2 on the year, and they come in on a good run, winners of 5 of their last 7.
And I thought that they played pretty well last week. Their execution, their discipline, their resilience, all on display in that victory.
Watson's throw taken in by Edwards.
And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. 27 yards there, a first down.
And that's a more than acceptable read right there because it's zone coverage, so timing is everything. This time he waits for his man to come open, puts it right on him, and they pick up a first down.
So they'll come up in Bengals territory now with a 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. Here's Watson. He lets this one fly toward the back of the end zone. And this is going to be intercepted. Chidobe Awuzie with a pick.
So they tried to take the deep shot there, but this defense up to the task.
And a lot of times when you air a ball out like this, if it does get intercepted, there's going to be a lot of space out there to set up a return. And remember, you got 5 big offensive linemen out there playing on their feet in open space. Not a skill most of them possess that allows for extra yardage on the return.
No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down. And he got off the end there very quickly to make that play.
Yeah, it was almost like the bullet train, wasn't it? I mean, just zoom. Quick, quick, quick. And what a terrific play, holding them to no gain.
Back to Mixon on 2nd down.
And this one also slow in developing as he's maybe getting back here to the line of scrimmage, but not much more than that. No gain that time, and it leaves him with 3rd and 11 coming up.
Here we go.
And it looks like we've got a dime set here defensively. 6 DBs in the game.
11-90.
Now the Bengals going to use the first of their timeouts. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this 2nd quarter.
Here we go.
We're backed up here. Tough spot, needing 11 yards to pick up the first.
11 Thomas. 11 MT Tate. 11 MT Tate.
On 3rd down, Burrow. And this is going to be incomplete. So it doesn't look like they're going to be able to build off the turnover.
Well, the defense certainly did its part to get them the football. But you're exactly right. It looks like they're going to have to punt this one away. And it's not a turnover, but doesn't it feel like one after grabbing the momentum with the defensive play?
Yeah, and they had all that momentum after getting the football, and now zapped right back in the other direction. And they're going to be set up with excellent field position to start the drive as that gets out of bounds inside the 45-yard line. Trying to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw.
He's going to find Edwards open downfield.
And all the way inside the 15 before they drop him. A really good pickup of 28 yards.
From the 13 now, they work on 1st and 10.
Watson.
Swings this out for Hunt.
And stopped a few yards shy of the goal line at the 3. It's a 10-yard gain there, and it sets him up now 1st and goal.
And I like the idea here. Get the ball in his hands, even if it's in the passing game. 3 catches a week ago, and he does a nice job here to pick up yardage.
Oh, how about this call down near the goal line? And just a short gain that time as they're able to get him down. He'll get 2 out of that run, and it's going to bring up a 2nd and goal.
Defensively, they had that one pretty well figured out.
Yeah, one of the things about this play, it can be even more effective when you run a lot of motion, and there's plenty of time.
And he'll get in. He's over for the touchdown. Deshaun Watson, his 17th touchdown now on the season. And the Browns have taken the lead.
York now for the extra point.
And he's got it. It's now a 14-7 ball game. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. The Bengals drive about to get going. They trail a 1-score deficit, 14-7 as they come up 1st and 10. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage.
Myles Garrett, the All-Pro, in on the tackle.
And as a defensive end, getting off the ball quickly, swarming to the football, making a tackle. That's what we saw right there.
Yeah, and that's what their job is. And really, a lot of the time, they have to throttle back a little bit in the run game because you know those defensive ends, they're like in a sprinter stance.
And he fires one that's intercepted.
Picked up by Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. And the Browns are going to take possession of the football.
You don't see this often. A quarterback of his caliber, 2 first-half interceptions.
It's absolutely surprising because it happens so rarely. You're searching for what reason, what's going on out there. It's not just maybe the defense is playing well. Is his horoscope off? His biorhythms? What is it?
You went horoscope on us, David.
Well, I was thinking maybe REM sleep was off. I'm trying to come up with something.
Anything, right?
And to put it mildly, this is a tough spot defensively. They have to come right back out and defend their red zone. But how about that good first step towards forcing them to settle for at least 3 points? I think they're also thinking bigger right now. Imagine being able to stop them totally and change the momentum.
Now a 2nd down throw for the end zone, but it's incomplete.
Well, they approached this drive with a lot of confidence after their last one ended up as a touchdown. But incompletions on their first 2 throws has them huddling up and trying to figure out a big play here on 3rd down to get their momentum going again.
Throwing on 3rd down, Watson. And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. Picked up by Jesse Bates.
And the Bengals are going to take over at their own 11-yard line.
And that felt like a little extra pressure on that third down attempt, and their mistake cost them points because they're inside the red zone. So you know you've got at least a field goal waiting for you. And in this case, they end up with nothing.
And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2. 45 yards rushing for him now in the ball game. We've hit the 2-minute mark of the second quarter, 14-7. A reminder that coming up in 2 minutes' time, we'll check in with Jonathan Coachman from Orlando. He'll have highlights and analysis of this first half of play. Back to Mixon on 2nd down. And he'll be taken down at the 20 after a gain of just 1.
We talk about defenders, specifically linebackers, keeping their eyes in the right spot. He had that eye down the entire time.
And you know that's not easily done because they throw a lot of misdirection at you. They try and fool you and get your eyes in the wrong place. But you're right about that one. He correctly figured that one out and made a really nice play.
And he'll have this past the 30 prior to going out of bounds. The defense surrenders a 13-yard pass play there on 3rd and 1.
And they'll use him out of the backfield, and sometimes quite a bit. They're just trying to get him touches any way they can. 4 catches a week ago. There's another one right there.
So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. They're passing here, Joe Burrow. And the Browns pressure gets to him that time, and he's going to go down. Now the Browns will use the first of their 3 timeouts as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming 2nd down play. Another try after the 1st down sack. Burrow. Now Burrow loses the football. And this is picked up by the Browns. And they take possession 2 yards away from midfield at the 48-yard line. A little careless with the football, and he also had a fumble loss last week, didn't he?
He certainly did, and when I'm watching him play, the one thing that comes to mind is always remember, traffic, turbulence, people around you, 2 hands. Get 2 hands on the ball. Grip it tight. I know it looks cool to have it in one hand. Put it away, tuck it away, because you've got to take care of the ball.
13 yards to pick up there. Good for Cleveland first. On 1st and 10, Watson. That's into the hands of Edwards. And he'll be brought down at about the 23-yard line. Watson on 1st down. He finds his man, complete. That's Grant. And able to get this down inside the 15, either the 13 or 14 before he's out of bounds. Got the defense on their heels. 2 first downs in a row and now a pickup of 8. To throw again on 2nd down. Watson. He's got it. And the Browns are going to have a 1st and goal coming up as the tackle made at the 3-yard line. Now the Browns signal for the 2nd of their timeouts as they stop it with 16 seconds to go in half number 1. It's Edwards again. And this one will wind up with him losing yardage back to the 4-yard line. Now the offense will burn their 3rd and final timeout. And with halftime on the horizon, they'll be out of timeouts from here forward. 2nd down and goal. Watson toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
Trying to decipher what's going on out there because I don't know if he's just getting bad reads. I don't know if the defense is confusing him. I don't know if he just has, bad info and intel before he snaps the ball. But he's made some pretty bad decisions with the football lately.
Yeah, several bad decisions on the interceptions he's thrown in. Frankly, that should have been another pick right there. And he's going to go down. Sacked back at the 13-yard line. So we've reached halftime here on Halloween And trust me, kids, if you had to look at Charles Davis every game, you'd think every day was Halloween. As we'll send you down to Orlando, and we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach. And we welcome you back live now inside the booth alongside Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin, set and ready to rock for the third quarter. The Browns are going to get the second half kickoff, and they've got this lead as well as we are back and underway. So now the possession will begin at the 35 after the errant kickoff.
Well, that's certainly one way to avoid a dangerous kick returner, I suppose, but you are giving up extra yardage, that's for sure. Because if you put it out of the end zone, they start at the 25. So at a minimum, you're giving up 10 yards to the offense.
Watson's throw taken in by Grant. And they'll get this down to around the 47-yard line. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful you're losing playing against a good quarterback like he is to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. And you can drop anyone out of your defensive front. Defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
Touchdown, Browns! Bryan Edwards. A 22-yard touchdown grab. And the Browns have taken a 2-touchdown lead now. Extra point by York is up and good. And it's now 21-7. The Browns kicking team out there now as they'll send this one away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. The Bengals drive about to get going. And their deficit a little wider than it was at halftime. Does that touchdown a minute ago change the thinking here at all?
I think it does, at least a little bit, because now urgency has to start setting in. You can't go out there and go 3 and out and run the risk of falling behind substantially, but you have to do it without pressing, because pressing, that'll lead you into bigger errors.
So they'll come up after the gain of 7 on a 2nd and 3. Again, it's Mixon. And the defense closes quickly there. He'll get maybe a yard to the 33.
We know that old expression, it's not my night. It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
And every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Flushed out right. And that is incomplete.
I'm sure it was a tough halftime trying to figure out some strategy to get things going. Trailing by a lot when they went into the locker room. He's just trying every avenue to spark his team here to begin the 3rd quarter. Not a lot going on that play, though.
Punting now is Huber as he sends it away. Just a 25-yard punt, not what he was hoping for by any stretch. And the Browns will take over 1st and 10. The Browns drive about to get started. The offense running out, and they are charged up, ready to go after reaching the end zone on their last drive.
And normally I'd warn against getting complacent just because they scored the last time out. But I don't think there's any worries with this group right now. This is a hungry group, and they want to keep building off of their last drive. Now they just want the officials to hurry up and place the ball so they can snap it and get back to work.
So not a lineman, but the tight end instead this time, drawing the holding call.
And more what you're getting with tight ends are guys who are much more receiver than blocker. They may be willing, but that might not be their thing. Oftentimes, they'll be the ones getting the penalties.
following the penalty. Chubb. And they'll be inside the 35 now at the 34-yard line. Call it a gain of 12, but of course not a first down due to the previous penalty.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time and making it work.
They try to throw on second down, but this one is incomplete.
Nowadays, quarterbacks don't mind throwing into covers because of the confidence they have in their receivers to come down with the ball. But sometimes you have to be careful you don't get too confident and throw an interception.
They come up now 3rd and 5 following the incomplete pass. To throw is Watson. He's caught on the sideline, but he's not going to have a first down. They say he was out of bounds. So a big call there that brings up 4th. A 3rd down, he tried to stay in bounds, did all he could. He caught it, but was led a little bit too far.
Yeah, that's always difficult, isn't it? Because you know half of your body is trying to stay behind while the other half is reaching out, trying to catch the football. The top half worked. It was the bottom half that was in question.
And right now, Charles, this is about building that lead little by little, and they're able to do just that.
And it gets them past the key number of 16, so this is now a 3-score lead. Not time to exhale just yet, but that might prove to be an important 3 points before things are said and done.
The Bengals drive about to get going.
I kind of feel like they've reached a do-or-die point in this game, Charles. If they're going to try to pull off an impressive comeback, it has to start right here, right now.
Yeah, now they've got a final chance to get out of this situation, but they also understand they've got to move the ball and move it fast. In addition, they need to save as much time so they can get 2 more possessions.
The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7.
Here we go. Stop.
Burrow looking to pass. He's taken down. This will be a Brown sack. Sione Takitaki. He brought the pressure on the blitz, and he gets there for a loss of 12. So that'll leave Burrow and the Bengals with a 3rd and long after that sack we just saw. They'll drop to throw. Oh, he'll let one go deep for Higgins. And that will be incomplete. They weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
Thought, but maybe run some simpler routes instead of trying to get it all back in one shot. Defense certainly appears to be ready for them. Try and get it back little by little instead of in big chunks.
On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. It's just a 32-yard punt with no return.
And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over.
The Cleveland offense ready to go.
Last time out, you remember their drive stalled, but thanks to their kicker, booted a long field goal to at least get them 3. Now here they'll try to do better and find the end zone.
And in our experience,
there he goes left side. And all the way in. Touchdown, Cleveland.
I don't think there's anyone who could possibly doubt how fast he could run on the open field. But if there were, he silenced those thoughts there.
And that's the kind of play where you have to kind of catch your breath afterwards. So just give me a second here, because when he shifted into high gear, he was an absolute blur out there. No substitute for speed. We talk about that all the time. The evidence was right there.
And the final clocking on the next-gen stats there. How about this? 22.1 miles per hour. Wow.
The Bengals drive about to get going.
Well, this has been a tough one for them, Charles. They've struggled really on both sides of the football. And one thing that's really plagued them, the turnovers. They've had issues keeping the football in their possession.
And every game that's ever been played, of coaches talk about taking care of the football and limiting turnovers. And in this one, after we saw that first turnover, we worried that things would snowball, and it certainly did, especially on the scoreboard.
Nixon with a first down carry. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. That's going to wind up a loss of a full 3 yards on first down. So their task a little bit more difficult now. 2nd and 13 that they're walking up on. Here's Burrow setting up to throw it.
And he's going to be intercepted for the 3rd time thus far.
Picked by Ronnie Harrison.
And the Browns are going to have the football here at their own 35-yard line. Well, still down quite a bit here, several scores. But, yeah, at least that's a start, Charles, getting the interception here. And look, we're still in the 3rd quarter, so this thing not done yet.
You're right about that, Brandon. This defense, they haven't quit on this game. They stayed with it and got an interception and handed the ball back to their offense. And what you wonder about is a team that just threw that interception, they've got to be careful about developing a sense of complacency and thinking this game is over.
They start on the ground with Nick Chubb. And he went nowhere. Well, he went backwards, back to the 33. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12. Off of play action, it's Watson. That's to the right side and complete to Njoku. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down.
Watson to Njoku there for the Cleveland first.
Back to throw, Watson.
And that's going to be caught by Peoples-Jones.
And he'll be brought down right on the 50. A gain of 3.
The goal of a wide receiver screen is get enough blockers in front to create a wall and let him pick his spot to run the football. How about the defense there, swarming to it and not allowing that to happen? Did not let him get downfield.
Escaping the pressure right. And that one incomplete. They try to sneak in a deep ball with the clock running down, but to no avail as time will expire on this 3rd quarter of play. The Browns on 3rd down. 0 for 3 to this point. They could use a conversion. This is 3rd and 7. Faking the give. Now Watson. He's got his tight end, David Njoku. And he's going to get this one down to the edge of the red zone. That one goes for 30 yards. They'll go left side on the ground with Chubb. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
This is what happens sometimes when you abandon the running game. It's hard to get back to it because once guys get out of that mentality of firing out and hitting people, hard to get them started again occasionally.
And they'll send the tight end in motion. A first carry now for Kareem Hunt. And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. A long way to go here on 3rd down for the 8th play of the drive. Now Watson. Hard throw, incomplete.
Well, 4th quarter with a 3-score lead here, Charles, but they're still going back to the air and looking for more points.
Well, with this game well in hand, it's an opportunity for the guys to come off the bench and get a chance to play. And a lot of coaches, they want to run their full playbook no matter who's on the field.
Well, ultimately not really sure that they're going to need those 3 points, but they'll take the 3 and they pad that lead.
Yeah, this one's already wrapped up, but you and I both know if you're an offensive coordinator, you never let up on the gas unless the head coach tells you to do so. And maybe you've actually clicked him off in your headset so you can keep calling plays and trying to add to this lead.
Here we go.
The Bengals drive about to get going.
We certainly had a sense coming in here that these guys were in for a tough one on the road. That has been how this ball game has played out. They trail big as we continue on now here in this fourth quarter. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. The 71 yards rushing here from Mixon. He's got a first down. And they go play action now. Burrow. And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. Myles Garrett in there to get him, and that is sack number 6 now for him on the year. Pass protection has been a problem all night long as they come up facing second and a bundle. A throw there, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
I know conventional wisdom says, hey, don't get it all back in one play. But sometimes you go ahead and try to. They tried to get it all back on that one. Weren't able to do so.
Here we go, here we go.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on third down.
11 empty, take. 11 empty.
Here's Burrow. Oh, he'll let one go deep for Higgins. And for the 4th time tonight, it's an interception. John Johnson with the INT. And the Browns are going to get the football here at their own 40-yard line. Count them now, 6 interceptions between last week and this week. Now, the 3 picks last week helped them to a win. They're in the driver's seat once more.
And they're the ones that are doing all the leading, aren't they? Right? The 3 interceptions last week, that led to a victory. 3 interceptions so far in this game, that has them out in front. We often think of the offense driving things. In this case, it's the defense, not just holding teams, but creating big plays for themselves.
Call that a very strong gain of 24. Here's Watson. The Bengal pressure gets him that time. Down he goes. Well, they're in some hot water now. After that sack, it's 2nd and 21. Now it's Watson. And this one almost intercepted. Far too loose with the football. Nearly a 4th pick of the ball game. A CD, they're up big, but they're still passing it. I mean, this is an offense that's had a lot of success in this game, and it seems like they're just having fun out there.
And it does feel like there's been a shift out there, doesn't it, partner? Listen, if you're up, you can continue to do what you want to do. It's up to the other team to make you change how you do things. They'll continue to throw it around until stopped.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
That is certainly one way to frustrate a quarterback. Run those extra defenders on the field. Dime package, lots of speed, no space to fit into football.
And Bojorquez on to punt as he gets it away.
Well, not good at all. A punt of just 24 yards there. And the Bengals will take over here 1st and 10.
Here we go.
The Bengals drive about to get going.
And you see a lot of frustrated faces as they are inching closer to a 4th straight loss.
They'll roll him out right. And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. Myles Garrett, his 2nd sack of the night.
We all know he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league, but definitely not today. His team trailing by multiple touchdowns, and a late sack, just a parting gift from the defense for him to take back to the locker room with him.
He's got a man, complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they reach the 50. So the big play nullified, illegal forward pass.
And maybe we know why they were able to get such a good chunk of yardage on that play. That pass was illegal.
On one, ready?
Maybe worse than the loss of yardage, they also lose the down. So now it's 3rd and long. Now Burrow. And my goodness, another interception. Picked up by Deion Jones, the linebacker. And the Browns are going to take possession of the football. I think you and I were a little surprised back early in the game when he threw his 2nd interception. I mean, who would have thought a quarterback of his caliber picked now 5 times?
It's beyond stunning to me because we're used to that with maybe a quarterback with less experience or less talent. But a quarterback of his caliber, I can't believe what we've just seen.
Absolutely. If you would have told me this coming into the ball game, I would have said never, not in a million years, but here we go. To throw once more on 2nd and 10. Watson, and this will be caught. And the carnage continues. It's another touchdown.
Well, when coaches come into a game preaching total team effort, CD, I think this is the type of ball game that they're dreaming of. It was pretty apparent early on that they were clicking in all three phases. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, sometimes in the NFL you end up with matchups like we've been watching here. And when you go back through the early drives, you can just see that one squad was on a different level in this game. Safe to say, we have been disappointed in watching their execution throughout this contest.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes.
Taking it about the 1. And he'll take it a yard or so past the 20, call it the 21.
The Bengals drive about to get going.
Where we stand right now in the fourth quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things with this ball game, but the self-inflicted wounds, they've had several turnovers. You have to think that's going to be something they're going to discuss heavily in the film session in the coming days.
You're absolutely right about that, partner, because they're going to have to sit in that film room and watch every error that they made and figure out how to not do it in the future. And mentally, I think a lot of the guys are already starting to think about, okay, how do we put this behind us and get better for the next time out? This, they'll use as motivation for the rest of the time that they play to hopefully never be in this type of situation again.
Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair.
On 1, ready?
It looks like a nickel set now for the Browns on 3rd down.
11.
They'll stay on the ground, mixing again. Shreds him with a stiff arm. And they nearly get this all the way to midfield. Mark him down at the 49.
We'll definitely see some open running lanes, and he's taking advantage of it right now, but that shouldn't be a surprise. Defense has the lead. They're playing for the pass first.
On the delay, it's Mixon. And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. 2nd down.
Some of the most unselfish players on any football team, defensive tackles, because we ask them to just eat up blocks and allow other people to make tackles. And when he can make a play himself, as we just saw there, that's a big day.
The solid stiff arm. And he is out of bounds inside the 35.
117 yards on the ground for him now as he has gotten better, really, as the night's gone on.
So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. And now they will throw it with Burrow. He's going to let this go. Back of the end zone. And that is caught. Well, they're going to see this one to the end. They get a score, but pretty much an exercise in futility right now. Still down big.
So still throwing here in the fourth quarter with a pretty sizable lead, and now that lead even more sizable. And if nothing else here, CD, a chance to pile on some stats before this one wraps up, and he did just that.
Brandon, convention tells us it's time for them to get off the gas a little bit, right? But you and I both know the receivers don't want them to, because, as you noted, this is their chance to pile on the stats. If they got their way, they try to get every single spot in the depth chart points before this game is over.
The Browns drive about to get started.
And right about now, heck, they might be wishing they did not have a bye week coming up next week. It appears they're going to go into that week off in high spirits as they've got this one well in hand.
2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
I think it's pretty evident. We can say what a difference a week makes. Last week, he ran pretty much wild, didn't he? Did pretty much what he wanted to do. But this one, they've stopped him cold. That, to me, that's good scouting and even better execution.
Yeah, and they stopped him behind the line right there. They obviously watched the tape a few times and made some adjustments. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. Big yardage there for the Browns, 18. Another example of this offense really having their way, Charles, and another big chunk play there on the ground.
And when you look at the defense, they've got to do a much better job of wrapping up when they tackle. A lot of great opportunities continue to slip through their fingers, as do the runners.
And taking it across midfield and just shy of the 40.
Partner, under the lights in primetime, this offense, they gave the nation quite a show, putting up that many points to come away with what will certainly be a memorable win for them.
And, Brandon, I think it's as simple as this. Some players, some teams, they're just meant for the big.
Are you ready? Okay, say no more. Tell the chauffeur to open Mercedes door. Put the pedal to metal and made it soar. She was, but I made it sure it was. So we stayed indoors. Let's take it where no one has been before. It feel like I've known you some years before, but I don't know. Are you ready?